Just wanted to get on here and talk about some stuff. Hope everyone's having a blessed day. Hopefully, some of you will have some time to come on, say hi, and chat with me, which I always look forward to. So, a lot of stuff going on in free agency. My goodness, uh, one of the biggest moves, Kenneth Walker signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. Not not happy about that whatsoever. That's bad news for if you're against the Chiefs winning. You know, uh, I'm sure that's a fair amount of people. Yeah, I'm sure if you're a Kansas City fan, you're ecstatic. You just had a Super Bowl MVP to your team, and you know he's a very good running back, and he's still young. So that's a scary proposition for the rest of the division in the league. He signed like a 4-year deal. So that is a huge move for Kansas City. Plus, they got some major draft capital. So going into the draft, you know, they got a lot. They got a lot of picks. So, yep, that's a huge move for the Chiefs. So congratulations to them for making a necessary move to get them back on track to get into the Super Bowl. So, uh, one thing I'm waiting to hear is what's going to happen with AJ Brown. If I'm AJ Brown, I do not want to be a Philadelphia Eagle anymore. How we doing today? Um, you know, he's too talented to be on the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts, you know, has time showed he is a very good quarterback, but he is so inconsistent. And you ask yourself, is it the coaching? Is it the play calling? Is it him? Thank you very much. I went old school today. Yeah, I gotta keep my old school merchandise. Yeah, love to get back to the glory days of winning again for sure. This team hasn't seen a Super Bowl appearance since the 91-92 season. So, but yeah, with AJ Brown, like I won out. You got a Super Bowl championship with the Eagles. Do you know how many quarterbacks in the league would be frothing at the mouth to get to have him to throw to? Yeah, you're right. Only real ballers know. Amen to that, brother. So, yeah, if I'm AJ Brown, I want out. I want to go somewhere where the quarterback thinks about throwing the ball to me consistently because he's too talented not to have the ball thrown to him. Like, come on, what are we doing? Like, the year they won the Super Bowl, he had a heck of a year. And all of a sudden, you know, you go from being targeted no less than 5 times a game to at times where five was a lot. That doesn't make sense to me. So, and then you know it's bad when your wide receiver on social media is posting scripture verses. That tells you that tells you all you need to know. He's been a little passive aggressive about his unhappiness there, but he should want to go. And if I'm the Eagles general manager and he's very good, I'll give him credit, and I like to give the Eagles credit for much of anything. Obviously, look at my hat. Think I'm gonna like the Eagles at all? Heck no. So try to get. I guess they would try to get two. I don't know if it will happen. Two first round picks, maybe a first, and maybe like a third and a fourth. I don't think you could say I want two draft picks for AJ Brown. That asking price might be a little too high. Unless it's a team that's absolutely desperate, you might be able to pull that. So we'll find out. Free agency just started. So there's a lot going on with that, and we'll get a lot of answers moving forward. So, um, another big name I want to see where they end up is Trey Hendrickson. You know, who has a real Zuckerberg quality. Biblical disappointment. No, I hear that. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. It really is. But Trey Hendrickson, he's been a very good defensive end in the game. Uh, I don't know much about Zuckerberg, besides some sketchy stuff and him being a coward when it comes to certain aspects of things. And one thing I will tell you this, my friend, what I've been through in life, I'll never be a coward. I've gone through the thicket in life. And there's a story that we'll be sharing on my channel. I'm looking probably first week of April. It's a game changer story uh, that will pull on the heartstrings of people that have care, empathy, and love in their hearts. And I'll leave it at that. I don't want to give any more information about it until I do it. So, yeah, Trey Hendrickson, see where he ends up. He's 31, so I mean, he still could be a force for another 3 or 4 years, but who's willing to pay him what he's looking for to see if he still has that in the gas tank to be a force for another 3 or 4 seasons? We'll find out, I'm sure, soon. And then talking to a lot of Raven fans, is just very interesting to get the feedback on Max Crosby. He's all gas no brakes type of guy. He's a very good defensive end. Hey, that's cool, brother. It's good to have a one heck of a gas tank for sure. Hey, what's up, party? Thanks for coming in. Talking football free agency. So, Raven fans have a lot of different opinions about Max Crosby. So, one of my friends I work with, he's like, I don't have a problem with him being on the Ravens, but he said he has a problem with the organization. He says the organization has a identity problem. And if they don't get that fixed, it doesn't matter how good the people they bring in. If they don't get their identity fixed, it's not going to solve the problem. And I can respect that. So I I do feel though ultimately he's going to make that defense a lot better because if the Ravens get back to a dominant defense to go what their offense is capable of, there's no reason we're not talking about them in January and into February for the Super Bowl. But Lamar has proven he chokes in the playoffs. Party, I understand why you say you're afraid of Ravens. It's because you're a Jets fan. And what are the Jets? La losers. Sorry, bro. Just saying. You're the only team NFL history last year that did not get an interception. Let's say about the defense. Witness protection. Reaching out for help. Blink twice if you're in trouble. Jets defense needs a wake up call. Shot of adrenaline. Something. They need to wake up. Yeah, I hear you on that. I do. But I heard y'all made some real moves in free agency. So we'll see. No, I hear you on that, bro. And hey, my team sucks too. Okay, just saying we're on the same boat. I mean, the one thing I can put my hang my hat on is we went to the championship game 2 years ago, and if our guys didn't have the fumble Ruski curse, we have a good chance to win that game because they scored a touchdown on every single turnover we had. So that was 5 turnovers. Do the math. And for all the clowns that want to get on my quarterback, Jane Daniels, and say it was his fault we lost that game, no, it's not. If he throws you the ball, it's your responsibility to catch it and to hold on to it for dear life. You hold on to it like it's your baby, and you're keeping your baby safe. So I digress. Yeah, I mean, party, your division's rough. You know, Damon, your division's rough. The Raiders got so much to deal with. Like the Chiefs are retooling. Denver's really good. Chargers are solid. It's an uphill battle. Feel like it starts with your quarterback, which I feel you're drafting number one. Uh, yeah, I love Jaden, but we need to protect him. We better get our freaking butts in gear and get a good offensive line. We need to improve our line. If we don't improve our line, Jaden's going to get injured again this coming season. I don't want to see that. But back to the Jets, yeah. I mean, yeah, you need a line for your future quarterback. 100% agreed. Absolutely 100. Give him an offensive line to start. You got playmakers on offense already. See what they can do. But with the Jets, I mean, we have the potential to see a Manning versus Brady esque feud for the next 10 years between Josh Allen and Drake May. So if you're a Jets fan, that's your worst nightmare because you know the Patriots and Bills are going to be battling for that division. Unless the the Jets have a brilliant uh, free agency, and I've heard they made some decent moves. They have a brilliant free agency, and then they have a heck of a draft and a heck of a camp. Who knows? Maybe it turns some heads. Anything's got to be better than last year. Honestly, I think if the Jets can win 7 games this year and be competitive, that's something to build on for the following season. Dolphins, I don't know. The jury's still out there. I mean, it's going to be hard to overthrow the Patriots or the Bills. Those guys, both teams got to make a lot of moves, and they got to be smart. You know, I don't, I don't know where Tua's going. I don't see him staying in Miami. And he's one to me. He's one more major concussion away from retiring. Atlanta, yeah, I I will say with Atlanta, they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent on that team, and maybe they're a quarterback away from really making that division super competitive. Carolina made some moves on defense, brought two uh, big time players, a defensive and a linebacker, I believe. So if that works out for them, Carolina gets better. Bryce Young is finally taking steps in the right direction, you know. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. But yeah, if Bryce Young can keep getting better, then Carolina, you got to talk about them moving forward. I like seeing dog fights in divisions because it makes for better football. When I was young, it was dogfight city. Tell you about what it was like back in the day when I was a kid. Dallas, Philadelphia Giants, and the Redskins. When I tell you, when you saw that division on your schedule, you're like, this is not going to be fun. Because back in the day, it was all smash mouth. that defense for those teams back then were really good. And there's a lot of rings in the division. So let's see. The Eagles have two. My guys have three. Cowboys have five. And Giants have four. That's a lot. Yeah, that's 14 rings from my guy's division. No, you're right, bro. Yeah, you can get behind on free agency real quick because I feel like almost like every hour there's some type of news breaking. Someone signed somebody, and talk about another free agent that signed a big deal. Mike Evans is now a 49er. Yeah, my boss probably having a cold one thinking about that. And Mike Evans is 32. What you mean mid? Really? Come on, party. You know doggone well. If Mike Evans signed with the Jets, you would be very excited. Uh-huh. Yeah, you said it. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. You said it. But I'm telling you, if he signed with the Jets, you'd be like, yes, 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 yes. Heard that. But yeah, I look, I on this channel, I try to be objective as possible. I say the good and the bad, you know. But I think him going to the 49ers, it gives Purdy a big target. If you throw the ball near Mike, he's going to catch it. I think it was a good move. I mean, I don't know how long he's going to be able to produce for him because he does have a history with hamstring injuries. And, hamstring injuries can keep you out anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks on average. So we'll see where that goes with that. I don't know if he doesn't have a hamstring injury, he might play all 17. But if he has a hamstring injury, which he's been prone to have, he could miss 4 to 6 games. We'll find out when we get there. For sure. We'll find out. But another receiver that's not with the 49ers anymore is Brandon Ayuk. Now, being a Commanders fan, knowing that Jaden Daniels and Brandon Ayuk are best friends, well, I like to see him here. My answer is yes, but with conditions. If he saves the drama for his mama, and he's a professional, and he plays team football, I will take him because we could get him cheap for a show me deal. And then if he produces big time, then I guess we could entertain a multi year deal. Um, I don't know. I didn't hear that rumor, Damon. I'm not sure. And if you could spread some more light on that situation, I appreciate it. But I haven't heard anything about that, so I don't want to speak on it because I have no idea. Just to be honest. Yeah, you gotta be ready for everyone in your division, of course. You know, John Harbaugh is the Giants head coach now. And trust and believe when I tell you that I'm not upset about Isaiah Likely going there. I wanted him for my guys. I'm very upset that Isaiah Likely went to the Giants, okay? I'll put that out there right now. I'm not happy. I wonder why it went silent. Because, yeah, Jaden Daniels would definitely find Isaiah Likely because Jaden Daniels does like going to the tight end. It could. I know they talked about the surface that they play on has caused a lot of injuries. And yeah, if you have a torn tendon, that takes quite a while to heal from, especially if you tear your Achilles. You're out a minimum a year. And football's so physical, and then all the cuts and different movements they do, especially as an offensive player. Yeah, I mean, I imagine it would mess with the mind, but everyone's different and are affected by different things. So I don't know the mindsets there, and some players aren't going to talk about stuff like that openly. That'll be more behind the scenes, private conversations. Yeah, I mean, there's many conspiracy theories. Like look at this one, right? So look at sports gambling. Look who's tied into sports gambling and how many times we get fixes in sports. You know, give you an example. You bet on a running back. Oh, it does that to a lot of people, brother. You get a running back that pretty much guaranteed is going to give you 70 rushing yards every single game, right? And then all of a sudden they play that team that's dead last in rushing defense. All of a sudden that running back that averages 70 yards a game only has 30. Think about it. How does he only have 30 yards this game? There's a conspiracy right there. Think about it. Worst rushing defense in the game, and this running back that averages 70 yards, oh, he gets 30. And he's healthy, dude. He's not injured, not hurt. He's tied into sports betting. My God, phone call. How's your family doing? How's your kids doing? I need you to not do well today. A lot of pockets are affected by sports gambling, both good and bad. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on with that. Yep, that happens all the time too. You wonder how much that's tied into it. But like the whole thing with the NBA and their scandals with sports gambling is insane. Like I watched some of the clips of Terry Rozier and how bad he played. Yeah, wild is an understatement, bro. But yeah, it's a big problem. This is why it's definitely not worth doing it because you're just gonna get mad and you're gonna lose money. You know, it's avoidable. I'll put it to you that way. It's very avoidable. My fiance will send me clips of LeBron flopping and he wasn't touched. Is some of the most funniest things I've ever seen. 6'8", 260, rolling around like he got fouled and no one touched him. That's why one of his nicknames is La Flop James. So yeah, but back to the NFL free agency. I want to see where some other guys land. I know the Bills traded for DJ Moore, and do I look at him as a legit number one for Josh Allen? I don't think so. I think it's an upgrade from what he has in part. But if Josh Allen can get a legit number one receiver, that would really help his cause and the team's cause to maybe get to the Super Bowl. But we won't know for a while. We got a lot of steps to get through before we get there. The Super Bowl was only in February. So it's a wait and see for sure. Definitely a wait and see. I don't know what the temperature is where a lot of people are, but here it's hot. I gotta turn on my air conditioning. Um, Scatterboo, I think he's doing okay with his recovery. If everything goes well, I would imagine he would be ready for the beginning of the season or a little bit after it starts. Because, I mean, he's fun to watch. One of my friends posted on Facebook one day, this was before he got injured. There was a picture from the 2005 movie X-Men Last Stand where the Juggernaut's running through walls. And he said, this is how Scatterboo runs. That's pretty accurate. I definitely think it's pretty accurate. And he's fun to watch for sure. And I do hope he comes back healthy, even though he's not on my team. But you don't want to see anyone injured. You know, you want to beat, I'd rather beat a team when they're at their best. It means more. If you beat a team with a bunch of injuries, it's kind of tainted. You know, it's just not. It's not good to me. I'd rather beat you at your best. It means a lot more. Yeah, bro. We need some toughness injected because there's times I feel like the NFL wants to turn into flag football. That's not what the NFL is supposed to be. They have changed so much with the way they call the game on defensive players. Like if a defensive player hits you with a tackle in the ribs and drives you down, that's a clean fundamental hit. You get taught that in the peewees. And they want to say unnecessary roughness. The players got to be able to tackle offensive players. Otherwise, they're just going to score. You know, like I would let the rules go back like it was back in the day. Yeah, I don't like the I don't like that scheme. I'll go back to the old ways. It's so goofy. Like I want to see the ball being returned and see what happens. That's fun. Seeing a kickoff return is great. It's one of the most exciting plays in the NFL. But this weird rule they have now, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. I don't get it. Yeah, they should change it. Will they? I don't know. I mean, the owners would have to vote on it, and they'd have to have a majority to change it back to the old system. Because I like seeing the ball returned. I don't want to see touchbacks all the time. That's not that's not fun to me. You know, I imagine you would agree with that. Yeah, I don't like that either. Like an onside kick, like late in the game. Yeah, sometimes you're gonna know what's coming, but is that not the beauty of it? Is to be able to do it anytime you want? Yeah, I would change that. Yeah, I don't like that. You have to say, yeah, we're going for an onside kick. Uh, mm, no, change that. That's too goofy. That's too goofy to me. Like, what are we doing? It takes the element of surprise out of the game, and I'm not a fan of that at all. So, change that needs to change. Okay, so let me give you my opinion on that. It's a precaution. It's like a little bit of extra padding because your head rattles around a lot. When your head rattles around a lot, you could be prone to concussions. So I get that. You know, it does it look goofy? Yes, it looks goofy. It does. But if it keeps a player chance of being safer, I can't knock it too much. The other things, yes, I will knock it. And excuse me, wanna see a change without a doubt because it's goofy. So yeah, I would want to see a change. Yeah, you're right. Definitely. I mean, it's the NFL. They got unlimited money. So come up with a different design. Yeah, 100% agree with you, bro. 100. So, then want to see who signs their franchise tags. If I'm Brees Hall, I'm not signing mine. I feel like I'd want to get out of there if I was him. You know, that division is really tough unless the Jets are going to make a bunch of moves to suggest they have a chance. I'd want out. And then let's see how things play out in Dallas with Pickett. He's a real good receiver, but I don't think he wants to be franchised. He wants a deal. So we had to wait and see. Jerry Jones waits till the last minute to do everything. And he screwed over his own team. The Micah Parsons thing, he could have got better draft picks. Um, I haven't heard that yet about Gino. I mean, maybe if he goes back there, maybe he has some kind of resurgence because I thought he was pretty decent in Seattle. He had a real rough year with Vegas, but that crap's really rough. Hey, what's up, Katie? So, yeah, I mean, this. Let's go over the Sam Darnold timeline, shall we? He's a Jet, and then he's a Panther, and then he's a 49er. And I think with the 49ers, he really learned a lot. Then he went to Minnesota, had a heck of a year, and then stunk it up in the playoffs. And then he goes to Seattle, year one, and wins the Super Bowl. And puts all the naysayers to sleep and silent, winning 3 playoff games and winning the Super Bowl. Because people like Stephen A. Smith say, "Oh, Sam Darnold can't get it done in the playoffs. He's a choke artist." Well, who got silenced? And it's hard to shut up Stephen A. Smith. Very hard to silence him. He's like the Energizer Bunny, just keeps going and going and going. But yeah, I feel like there's a Sam Darnold 30 for 30 special coming. Definitely think so. That's a good reference, bro. Marlboro man. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, but it's crazy to think that he lost his running back to the Chiefs. I just can't believe Seattle couldn't come up with a deal for him to re-sign there. I don't want the Chiefs to be good again. I really don't. Can't stand them. We went through a 20-year period with, excuse me, the Patriots, and now since Patrick Mahomes has been in the league, they've been out of the 8 years he's been quarterback, seven AFC Championship games, one missed playoff appearance. That's crazy to me. Been to the Super Bowl 5 times and won three. Patrick Mahomes retired today, be a Hall of Fame quarterback. But I feel like he's going to play for another 10 years. And if he does, then he's probably going to win another ring or two. So we'll see what happens. Do I want that? No. I really don't. I can't stand to see the same team win. It gets stagnant and boring to me. I like seeing change. I like seeing different teams win. I love to see teams that haven't won the Super Bowl win it, or see my team go back and win. I absolutely be fine with that. You know, I can be selfish a little bit, and we all can, as football fans. We can want to see our teams thrive, like 100%. Uh, I don't, I don't know if you heard, Damon. They're making. Yeah, I want to see this. They're making a movie about the glory days of the Raiders. Christian Bale is playing Al Davis, and Nicolas Cage is playing John Madden. I think that would be an epic movie because they're both great. You know, huge Nicolas Cage fan, huge Christian Bale fan. So I definitely would want to see that movie. Now I don't know if it would come out in theaters or if it would come out to like Amazon. I don't know the details yet, but I want to see that movie. Whereas in theaters or not, like I'd be very excited to see that movie because seeing a good football movie, uh, never can be mad about that. Gosh, speaking of football movies, Rudy's a classic, 100%. And then probably one of my all-time favorite movies, football movies, Varsity Blues. There is so much classic stuff in that movie. And unfortunately, two of the big stars from that movie are no longer with us. Paul Walker and James Van Vliet. They both passed away. And they were like the two main stars of that movie. And John Voight played such a great, horrible football coach. He would pull out anything, all the stops to win a football game in high school. Well, I I can understand that. I can respect that. Like as as football fans, you know, when your team just lets you down, you have to find something else that excites you about watching football. So you latch on, to like you said, players on our teams that are just exciting to watch. Because football is one of the sports for me that if my team sucks, I still love watching football. You know, that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Like, look at Jonathan Taylor last year. Yeah, amen to that. Yeah, besides the Chiefs and Patriots, 100. Look at Jonathan Taylor before Daniel Jones went down to injury last season. You know, he was on fire. I thought he had a chance to beat LT's touchdown record because he was on pace. And then all of a sudden, Daniel Jones gets injured, and that run game gets stagnant. It really starts stacking the box, and Jonathan Taylor cooled off quicker than a cucumber. So, yeah, that sucked. And then Saquon Barkley the year before, that was very fun to watch. And then last year, uh, he was not himself last year. But everything in Philadelphia on the offensive side of the ball is suspect. And I even heard Nick Sirianni's job's at stake if he doesn't get that offense straightened out. He was, not last year. Last year he was a Tonka toy, not a bulldozer. He was horrible last year. The whole offense was horrible last year. Like their defense is what got them to the playoffs. If Philadelphia's offense was good last year, they would have had a chance to repeat. But it was not. And I'm mad at it. Look at my hat. Okay? You think I want to hear Philadelphia Eagles fans talk trash to me year round as Brian Danielson would do? No, no, no. I have a buddy that's an Eagles fan. I do not want to hear it. I have a buddy that's a Patriots fan. I don't want to hear it. If the Patriots had won the Super Bowl, I would have been signing up for better help. Okay, so Damon, I'll give you a situation that I saw Dan Orlovsky doing film breakdown for one of the games the Eagles had last year. Jalen Hurts, okay, ran this one play 5 times. Didn't didn't disguise it, didn't change it. So guess what happened on the fifth time? I bet you know. Pick six. Because the cornerback read the play. I already saw it 4 times before. Pick six. You cannot run the same play 5 times. A running play, yeah. Not a passing play. If you don't disguise it, the defenders are not dummies. They're gonna figure it out. And that's what happened. Guy identified the play. Said, I'll take that, pick six. Yeah, that whole thing, that was a shame. Because look at Pete Carroll, like with Seattle, he, he's a very good coach. Like he had a lot of success as Seattle's head coach. But he's also not a spring chicken. He's like in his early 70s. There is such a thing as a game passes you by. I still knock on Pete Carroll in that regard. Yeah, I mean he's definitely a Hall of Fame coach. Look at look at what he did in college. Like he was super successful in college, and he was super successful in the NFL. He could walk away today, and he'd be just fine. If he sticks around and keeps coaching, it's because he loves the game that much and he doesn't want to walk away. But I don't know how much he has left in the tank, you know, that he wants to do this because what I can tell you, bro, is the players, it's a long season for the players. Okay? It's longer for the coaches. You got to think about all the film the coaches have to watch. You got to think about the extra hours they put in trying to get the schemes that they want to run, finding the right players to run these schemes. You know, the the players' day could be 10 hours at the facility. I guarantee you the coach's day at the facility is 14 or 15 hours. Why they're why they're exhausted because they're putting everything they got into it to get a winning product on the field. And it's really bad for the successful coaches because you can't let up off the gas. You can't just be happy because you're successful. To stay successful, you gotta keep grinding. You gotta put the work in every day. So that's it's that simple. It's a grind. And at some point, you're gonna be like, I don't feel like doing the grind anymore, so I'm walking away. Like case in point, look at Andy Reid, right? He was the Eagles head coach for years, and they were very good. You know, a lot of division championships, a lot of playoff appearances. They only went to the Super Bowl once under Andy Reid and lost to the Patriots in a competitive game. Then goes to the Chiefs. 5 Super Bowl appearances and 3 rings. Andy Reid's a first ballot Hall of Famer. How much longer does he want to do the grind? He's like 65, 66, I think. I feel like in the next couple years, if Andy Reid were to get 2 more rings, I don't think he is around anymore. I think he walks away. I just don't see him coaching until Patrick Mahomes retires. Yeah, I think Andy Reid's much more likable than Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick's a great coach without a doubt. But come on, like Andy Reid will talk to the media. What's it like for Bill Belichick? Hey, what'd you think of this? We're moving on to Cincinnati. You know, like he gave you nothing. His press conferences were the worst. Now you get Bill Belichick away from the press conferences. He's got a great personality. He will talk a lot. He'll smile. He'll joke. But I'll tell you what, though, those but that before game press conferences and after game press conferences, listen to Bill Belichick was like the worst. It was like, hey, I want to watch the paint dry. Who wants to watch paint dry? I don't. I don't want to watch paint dry. You know, uh, I'm just saying that doesn't sound like a fun day to me. So I'm not doing that. Watch the paint dry. No thanks. But that's what it was like listening to Bill Belichick and pregame and postgame press conferences. He gave us nothing. The most minimum, meaningless answers. Horrible. Get him away from that situation. He's great. So, is what it is. What are you gonna do? You know, it's just one of those situations where you just shrug your shoulders and say, "Oh well." But yeah, I don't see Andy Reid coach until Mahomes is ready to retire because that would put him at like 75, 76. And I imagine he wants to spend time with family and play with the grandkids. You really can't do that when you're head coach of a football team. You have very limited time to do that because you're always breaking down information. Okay, Katie. I don't handle spice very well, so that's all you. If I eat spicy food, I'll get smoke come out my ears, nose, and mouth. That's not fun for me. So you enjoy the spicy chicken tenders. Uh, you know, Damon, I don't know if you like spicy food, but I do not. It don't agree with me. And that's not fun. Now you give me food that's hot temperature, I can eat that. That's not a problem. But if you give me something spicy, nope, not fun. I will take a pass. Yeah, yeah, Damon. One of my buddies, he goes to Wendy's. He gets a spicy chicken sandwich like every time. I'm like, there's other things on the menu, right? He's like, I don't care. I had a spicy chicken sandwich and now put some Tabasco on it and some jalapenos. And I'm like, are you trying to destroy your insides? He's like, absolutely. He says the hotter the better. Good for him. I'm not. It's not gonna be me. It's like seeing those people that do the hot wing contest. Like they make you sign a waiver because it's so hot. make sure that they can't be held liable for the amount of spice you're about to digest. Like ghost pepper hot. I heard stories about that. Yeah, I'm like, not me. I watch I watch someone else do it, but heck, if I'm doing that, I'm no thanks. I'm good. I'm not. I'm not touching anything with the title Ghost Pepper. Yeah, I hear you on that. I have friends that like habanero, but yeah, Ghost Pepper. Nope. I refuse. Call me chicken if you want. I'm like, why would I torture myself? If you can't handle that type of spice, that's fine. It's not for everybody. If you can eat it, great, good for you. You deserve a cookie. Now, I'm not giving you the cookie though. I haven't had Taco Bell in a while. I like the Power Bowl. That's pretty good, but I'm not doing any sauce though. I don't like the guacamole, so I'll get it with no guac. And I don't like the beans. I'll get extra rice. I really like rice, so those beans do nothing for me. I don't like eating those types of beans. Um, yeah, I hear you on that, Damon, for sure. Like I like baked beans from time to time, but not too often. Yeah, like Katie will understand this reference. If my best friend had baked beans and cheese, run for your life. He'd clear a room once it kicks in. The amount of gas that he would produce be enough to make someone pass out. But yeah, like the missus, she's gonna make chili for dinner tonight. So she'll have beans in, so I'll eat that. That's true, Katie, and blow up the room. So I don't mind the beans in the chili because she makes great chili and she puts extra meat in it, and I love that. And then she's making some like croissants with hot dogs in it. So it'll be like food coma, and then we're gonna try to watch Ozark, and we'll probably fall asleep and wake up from our power nap from the food coma, and then continue watching that. But yeah, so like I can eat beans situational, but I don't like the maybe like green beans. I love green beans, but like regular beans, like black beans, I'm not a huge fan of. It has to be like situational. It has to be in something I like and I can eat it. But otherwise, not so much. I don't care to eat it. So we all like different things. So Really? I didn't know that. Interesting, Katie. Very interesting. One thing I it's not okay. So one thing I'll be happy about is in May there'll be food trucks coming back close to my lady's house. So I like trying different food trucks, see which ones work out really well, and try new foods from time to time. Uh, yeah, it could be a wrestler's name's gimmick, but you have to make it make sense though. Because WWE doesn't always make sense. It's like CM Punk not apologizing last night for his heinous words from last week and for his actions got punched in the mouth. So Roman's supposed to be back next week, so we'll see how that plays out. Hopefully it's for good TV. Raw was mid to me. Finally did the face turn for Finn, like now without a shadow of a doubt after being jumped and beat up severely last night, he's gonna be a face again. And I love that. Maybe we get the Demon King at Mania. Oh, you're not the only one that thinks that, Katie. Yeah, some people want Punk to get his butt kicked, big time. But yeah, long time coming for Finn Balor, absolutely, very long time coming. You know he's been underutilized. He's been with the company for a long time, and Finn Balor is very talented. I'd love to see him win some singles gold. I don't think they'll let him win the heavyweight championship again. I would love it though. And I wanted Dom to keep the belt because I wanted Finn to take it from him at WrestleMania, but they flushed that good idea down the toilet and gave it to Penta. No disrespect to Penta. Penta's good. But Finn's been there. And he hasn't touched that belt. It's a good belt to have if they don't have any heavyweight main event plans for you. It's definitely a good belt to have. And another thing, I'm torn on this. I understand Obafemi winning, but the fact that Rusev hit all those kicks and he didn't go down from one, that's that's crazy to me. He took one clothesline from Lesnar in the Rumble and he goes down. Rusev hits you with those kicks, you go down. So the fact that he didn't, I felt was very disrespectful to Rusev. Rusev didn't get jack squat really in that match. I understand pushing Obafemi. I'm not mad at it. But don't disrespect Rusev either. You know, since he's come back, they haven't utilized him very well And now I wonder if he's questioning his judgment about coming back to WWE because he's not being used for squat. And then, Tony Khan said the door's always open if he wants to come back. I don't know what type of deal he signed with WWE. If he signed a 5-year deal, he's in trouble because he still would have probably 4+ years left on that deal. So that's not a good situation for Rusev. So yeah, there's going to be people utilized correctly, and there's people that are going to be not utilized correctly in wrestling. Both companies are huge. So that it's like to see some people that I appreciate maybe more than others in my eyes get used correctly. So we'll see. You know, that's all we can do. Waiting for the card to finish so I can talk about that for WrestleMania. I did not like the fact that I didn't see Gunther last night. Not happy about that. Gunther's phenomenal. It should be on TV. I want to know if he's going to fight Rey Mysterio. But we haven't seen any signs of it yet, which is frustrating. WrestleMania will be here before we know it. So feel free to build a story up, WWE. I don't know what you're waiting for. I think Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley should be a great match. But it's not going to be long because Jade Cargill is not good in matches with any length to it. So I don't see that match honestly being more than 10 minutes. This and them being the living daylights out of each other. That's what I think is going to happen in that match. Because they're both, very strong women. So I feel like they're going to throw each other around, which is fine. There's going to be a lot that happens in like that 10-minute period. I mean, Rhea can go around a half hour probably without a problem, but Jade Cargill cannot. So that's out of nowhere. A DDP self high five reference, okay. I'm talking about Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. And you're talking about bang, self high five. Random is random, Katie. That's all I can tell you. Very random. So, yeah. And then, you know, you got Liv and you got Stephanie. I think Liv should win. Stephanie's title reign hasn't been very productive. And I'm not blaming her. It's how she gets booked. She has no say in that matter. They tell her to go out and do something, and she goes out and does it. She's not making the decisions. And then I like to see the tag titles in WWE be better used. I think the women are doing a better job with the tag belts than the men are. And what's the Usos doing? Yeah, they're great. But what are they doing to elevate those tag belts? Again, that's writing, not them. You know, even though the division's only two guys right now, I would have the Vision beat the Usos for the tag belts. They need some momentum. Brunson Reed's probably going to be out for like 6 months, probably. Haven't heard anything on Braun Breaker yet. There's a bunch of rumors. If Breaker is good to go for Mania, then it would make sense for him and Seth to wrestle if Seth is cleared. That whole smoke and mirrors thing with all the masked men was goofy last night. I don't know what anyone else thinks about it. I just thought it was goofy. I thought it was goofy that Seth Rollins didn't talk. You know, we didn't get to hear the I am a revolutionary. I am a visionary. I am Seth freaking Rollins. He didn't say nothing though. It's just goofy to me. Why is he not speaking? Some things confused me with the way they do the writing and wrestling. I'm like, do better. Yeah, because Danhausen is like the goofiest thing they got. But this was goofier than Danhausen, so. Eh, I don't care about Danhausen all that much. Yeah, it doesn't do that much for me. I am very nice. I am very evil. No, Katie, you are cursed. You will make me in the Hall of Fame this year. I want a manager. I want to have Triple H's nose. And if you do not provide, you are cursed. I am very nice and very evil. I feel like Doctor Evil would have that gimmick if he had hair and makeup. He could be Danhausen. Agree or disagree? So, yeah, yeah, just absolutely disappointed that like I'm a huge Gunther fan, and the fact that Gunther was on there really agitated the crap out of me. Like, what are they doing? One of the biggest stars on Raw, and you don't have him on TV. And then I really want to see where the CM Punk thing goes. I feel like he's gonna wrestle Jay or Jimmy, over the disrespect comments about Roman's dad that is no longer with us. So I feel like there's real hatred between Punk and Roman Reigns. So how much of it's real and how much is storyline? Where do the lines get blurred? You know, between the reality and the scripted. So that's the question. Yeah, fine with my family. Yeah, 100% agree. I love that movie. 1 second. When you gotta blow 'em, You gotta blow. Nose. Wise. Ha 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 ha. In case you decide to say something funny, Katie. Remember, this is a family friendly channel. Don't get it twisted. So, yeah. As just want to see how it plays out. And I don't know what they're doing with the Brock Lesnar challenge. I hear it's LA Knight. I don't want it to be LA Knight unless you're gonna let him beat Brock Lesnar, which I don't think they're gonna allow. If it's Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar, they better have Oba win. And knowing Brock, unless he's the main event for the title, he wants to be in and out of his pay per views. He does not stick around to watch anything. He does his match, he showers and he leaves. Yeah, you would be Paul Heyman with hair and slender. Paul Heyman's built like a walrus. All he's missing is some tusk, and he would be a walrus. Just saying. Just saying. Now, I don't know when we're going to see him again, because he's showing that injury. You know, from the chair shot and the stomp. Maybe in a few weeks. And I'll tell you, if we do get Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker should win, in my opinion. He needs to go over, help him, you know, in his uh, journey for the heavyweight title. And Gunther, as I said before, I wouldn't have that man lose anytime soon. If they're going to do him and Ray at Mania, it should be a retirement match. Should retire Ray, which would be number 4. SummerSlam is in Minneapolis. I would have Gunther retire Brock Lesnar there. So that'd be 5. And then I'd have something leading him to the heavyweight title and have him win it. You know, either late this year or early next year. Depends on which direction they want to go. Now, what would be ironic is if Gunther was a heavyweight champ and somehow he got in a storyline with Sami Zayn, and then Sami beat him at WrestleMania for that belt. Then Sami could say, I beat Gunther at Mania for the Intercontinental title, I beat Gunther at WrestleMania for the heavyweight title. That would be wild. Fun fact, Sami has a better record against Gunther, who's a great big man, than he does against Drew. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre he's 0 for 12. Last time I checked, that's pretty bad. That is pretty bad. Like, 0 for 12? Not good. Not good at all. Well, I think that's all I got for today's live stream. I just want to say, everyone that stopped by, watched, comment, appreciate you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share if you're not part of the channel. I hope you all have a blessed day. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.